there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into something you specifically requested, prompt engineering.
Oh, yeah.
Getting into how to talk to AI so it gets you, delivers the goods.
Yeah.
You sent over actually some fascinating excerpts from prompt engineering for beginners.
Yeah.
Seems like you're ahead of the curve on this whole thing.
Absolutely.
So get comfy because we're going to break it all down.
It's becoming really essential for anyone using AI these days. And that's most of us now.
Pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book jumps right into AI basics.
Right.
And I thought it was really interesting how it distinguished between narrow and general AI.
Mm-hmm.
Like my phone, for example. My phone has a voice assistant.
Sure.
That's narrow AI, right?
Exactly.
It's good at its one job.
Yeah.
But general AI, like a human brain,
Right.
we're not quite there yet.
Not quite. No, and that's where prompt engineering comes in.
Yeah.
That's how we get the most out of the AI we do have. It's like we're trying to bridge this gap. We have to understand how AI thinks so that our instructions, our prompts, actually make sense to these models.
So it's not just about telling it what to do, but how to do it in a way that it understands.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like you can't just say, write me a poem.
Right.
That's way too vague. The book actually gives examples of how being specific is so crucial.
Okay.
Like instead you could say, write me a short poem about the feeling of nostalgia for a childhood home using vivid imagery and sensory details.
Wow.
And that gives it so much more to work with.
That makes total sense. Yeah, you're giving it a clear picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book stresses how the structure of a good prompt is key.
Okay.
It's not just what you say, but how you say it, clarity, context, being specific but not too specific. It's a real balance.
So you're trying to find that sweet spot where the AI has enough to work with,
Exactly.
but you're not
Yeah.
throwing too much at it.
Not overwhelming it. Yeah. And something I found really interesting was this concept of iterative refinement.
Okay.
It's not about writing one perfect prompt and you're done. You're constantly refining it based on the AI's responses.
So it's like a conversation almost.
Exactly. It's this back and forth. And the book gets into advanced things too, like giving the AI a role to play
Wow.
or like a really detailed scenario.
Okay, this is where things got really interesting for me.
Yeah.
You can prompt AI to create images, music, videos.
Isn't that wild?
Blowing my mind.
And the book has some really interesting examples. Like, imagine telling an AI to compose a jazzy tune with a melancholic piano solo,
Wow.
or generate a video of a robot dog learning to skateboard.
Okay, so we're not just talking about text. We're talking about like
We're talking about everything.
all sorts of creative mediums.
Yeah, and the thing is, all those elements, that clarity, context, specificity, they're all relevant no matter what you're trying to create.
So those principles transfer across the board, whether you're writing an email or composing a symphony.
Exactly. And like, let's say you wanted to do image generation.
Right.
You can get so specific. You could say, give me a sunset over a tropical beach with palm trees silhouetted against a colorful sky reflecting in the water.
Oh, wow.
The more detail you give it, the more it's going to give you back.
So you're like an art director for a movie, but instead of a film crew,
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
you're briefing an AI.
You're speaking its language.
And you'd still refine it, right?
Right.
You get something back and go, oh, actually, I meant this.
Absolutely, it's collaborative.
Okay.
Like even with music, you could say, compose a classical piano piece, but that's so broad.
Right.
If you say slow and melancholic, something that would fit in a movie,
Yeah.
that gives it something to work with.
So you're setting the mood. You're setting the tone.
Exactly.
You're setting the whole scene.
Yeah, and it's the same with video. Like you could say, create a video of a futuristic city,
Right.
but you could say flying cars, neon lights, busy streets, even the style animated or live action.
So it's really about taking that vision that you have
Yeah.
and just like breaking it down into all the elements
Exactly.
that it can understand. And the better you get at that, the more you're going to get out of AI,
Okay.
whatever you're doing.
This is making me realize, like, there's a real art to this whole prompt engineering thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, where do you even begin? Are there, like, golden rules, things to keep in mind when you're crafting these prompts?
Absolutely. And it goes back to, those key elements we talked about. Clarity, context,
Right.
specificity.
Right.
Those are your guiding principles. No more write me anything.
Right. It's got to be, way more specific.
The more specific, the better, because then the AI can actually understand and deliver what you want.
So, like, with clarity, is there a certain way we should be structuring these prompts? Or, like...
It's about clear and direct instructions.
Okay.
So instead of like, I need a story about a detective,
You say, write me a short story about a detective who solves a crime in a futuristic city.
Okay, so again, painting that picture,
Exactly.
giving it those details.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to use examples as well. The book talks about using templates.
Oh, templates. Yeah, tell me about those.
Yeah, so these are like pre-structured prompts
Okay.
for common tasks. So let's say you want to write a business email.
Right.
There's probably a template out there. You just plug in your details and you're good to go.
That's a great idea.
Saves you a lot of time.
And I bet you could use those for all sorts of things, not just emails.
Oh, absolutely. And it helps you learn the structure.
Okay.
So then you can apply that to other things.
So templates, check. What about this whole context thing?
Yeah,
How much background info does the AI actually need?
that's a great question. And it really depends on the task.
Okay.
But in general, more context is going to lead to a more relevant response from the AI.
Okay, so let's say I want to, I don't know, ask it to compose a piece of music instead of just saying compose a song.
Right. Instead of saying compose a song, you could say, compose me a blues song about the feeling of longing using a slide guitar and a slow tempo.
Wow, okay.
You're giving it so much more to work with.
Yeah, than just compose a song.
Right. You're setting the stage, the mood, the instrumentation.
So it's like I'm giving it the sheet music, but it gets to play the notes.
Exactly. I love that. That's a great way to put it.
It's a collaboration in a way.
It is. It is. And, sometimes you need to feed the AI information in stages.
Okay.
Especially if it's a really long or complex task.
Right.
And that's where some of those advanced techniques come in, like multi-turn prompts.
Right, like that example we were talking about, like analyzing a scientific paper.
Exactly. So you break it down into smaller prompts.
Okay.
So it can stay on track and give you a more accurate result.
So it's like you're giving it smaller bites of information to chew on
Exactly.
rather than the whole meal at once.
And each bite gives you a chance to review, adjust, guide it towards what you're trying to achieve.
This is making me realize that this is prompt engineering is as much about understanding AI's limitations
Yes.
as it is its potential.
100%. It's not magic.
Right.
It's a tool.
It has its strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. And we need to be mindful of those and adjust accordingly.
Okay, so don't expect perfection on the first try.
No.
Be ready to,
It can take some work.
play around with it.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Exactly. Experiment, iterate, refine based on the responses you're getting.
Okay. It's like we're learning a new language almost.
Yeah.
The language of AI.
That's a great way to put it. And just like any language, it takes practice.
Right.
Patience. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any common pitfalls that you see people falling into when they're first starting out with this stuff?
Yeah, definitely. One of the biggest ones is, I think, just being too vague
Okay.
with their prompts.
Right.
It goes back to that clarity and specificity.
No more write me anything.
Exactly. Another one is trying to do too much at once.
Okay.
Remember those really complex prompts we were trying to simplify?
Yeah, like trying to write a whole research paper in one prompt.
Exactly. Break it down.
Okay.
Smaller prompts, more accurate, more coherent results.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Yeah,
Giving it enough to work with, but not overwhelming it.
exactly. Slow and steady wins the race.
Right. This has been amazing. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible with all this stuff.
Oh, me too. This is just the beginning.
If you're listening to this and you want to learn more, we highly recommend checking out Prompt Engineering for Beginners.
Yeah, that's what got us on this whole deep dive.
That's what sparked it all.
It's a great resource. Really interesting stuff in there.
Okay, well, on that note,
Yeah,
we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for going on this journey with us into prompt engineering.
it's been fun.
Keep those prompts sharp, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.